Hi, everybody. Yay, we all made it. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Dynasty United team call. I'm super happy that we're all here together, and I'm super excited about tonight's topic. So let me just dive in. I'm Brittany Leggett. For those of you who might not know me, or maybe you're new to the team, want to say welcome. We do these calls as a big team at least one time a month. That's how we do it right now, and that's how we're going to do it until further announced. So you can expect something from your big mother team, at least once a month as far as training goes. So again, my name is Brittany. I'm a 15-star Diamond coach. I'm the founder of Dynasty United. I've got my little logo cup here to pump me up and keep me focused on you guys. I love you all so much, and I'm so honored to be the presenter tonight. The last couple calls, we've had some of our leaders presenting, which was so awesome. And then I missed sharing too, and so I was just really excited that I was the one for this month. So anyways, I'm really pumped to talk to you guys tonight about something that's so important in our business and something that I've had some personal experience with, as well as something that I've really dove into to sort of learn more about, get some tips about. So I'm really excited to pass all that on to you. So a little bit about me. I am a retired nurse. I became a Beachbody coach through my P90X journey in January of 2013. I lost some of that or all of that uncomfortable newlywed weight was kind of my beginning story. And I found my coach online on Facebook through a wedding photographer that I had. They use the same wedding photographer. So that was our connection. So it's probably another reason why I'm so passionate about social media and how we share our journey on Facebook, because I wasn't one of the maybe more typical coaches of being invited into the business. I actually sort of found it accidentally. And the reason I had the courage to reach out to this complete stranger was because of how she shared on her social media. So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm always trying to learn about social media, be myself, and kind of pass that on to my team, is because that was my personal experience. So I was, our first year as a coach, me and 5 other of my personally sponsored coaches, we became a 5-star elite team that first year. The second year, we were top 10. We finished number 7 as a team. The third year, we finished number 11, and currently, I just got the stats. We're currently number 13 in the company. So, such an awesome journey. This has been 15-star my first, 5-star my second, 1-star my third business center. Recently inducted into the Million Club, a Success Club legend, all that jazz. And so the only reason I say that is because I feel that is important to kind of connect the dots with where I'm at now in my business. It's been a road, it's been a journey, and it hasn't always been the mountaintop experience, as some of you know. If you've been coaches for a while, I've been pretty transparent about that at times. And so, but one thing that hasn't ever faltered is my vision and my why. And so I know you guys have heard that a million times, but unfortunately, you're going to hear it again tonight because it's such a big piece. So I want to share a couple slides. The first thing I want to do is just announce our hashtag challenge. So we're going to do, let me get that up really quick. So sometime tonight on the call, if you want to be sort of entered into the raffle, the hashtag raffle, you have to participate in this way. You've got to take a picture of yourself and somehow showing you connecting with the team tonight, something about you being a part of this team training. And you've got a hashtag at Dynasty United. You can absolutely hashtag it with, if you're a part of another team, definitely hashtag that as well. But in order for me to find it, we've got to have Dynasty United in the post there. So picture of you connecting with the team tonight, and then I want your post to answer this question. And you may have seen my post. I kind of kicked it off to give you kind of a feel for it, but I want you to answer this question in your post. Why do you choose to be on this live team call after a full day? You guys had, a million other options, whether it be laundry or, watching 7 episodes of The Killing or whatever it might be, but there's a reason you're here. And so I want to challenge you to take this opportunity to share your reason for being on this call at 9 p.m., 155 of us right now, which is so awesome. And so in order to be entered into the And to the hashtag Raffle, you've got to have it posted on Facebook by 12 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And the raffle prize is a Dynasty United lounge sweater for our cooler weather kind of coming our way. So that is what's going on. That's what's going on. So that is the hashtag challenge. So if you want to take part in that, take a little picture of yourself. I hope you have your notebook and everything ready, because I'm going to have some stuff for you to take notes on, but that's how we'll kind of kick it off. So I do want to take a second to recognize a couple people here. In the month of September, these coaches, man, they have already locked in Success Club. And so I just want to give you guys a virtual hug, a virtual high five, and honestly highlight you, because in front of the entire team or anyone on YouTube who's watching, who watches the recording, because this is such a big deal. We are 8 days into September, and you guys have already helped at least 3 people. Allie, Danny, Ashley, Jessica, Catherine, Helen, Marissa, Carrie, Laura, Katie, Brianna, Candace, Erica, Chantal, Megan, Christy, Tanya, Sydney, Lindsay, Lacey, and Kara. I am so proud of you. I want to tell you guys congratulations. If you know a coach on this list, tell them congratulations. Give them a serious, serious high five, because this is dedication. This is not waiting until the end of the month. This is getting it done and doing what our mission is, which is to help people. And you guys are out there doing it, and I'm just super, super proud of you. So speaking of helping people, I wanted to put this on our team call because I haven't posted it on my page yet, because we just kind of finished the graphic because it took forever because there's a bazillion names. But look at this, you guys. It gives me goosebumps. Look at this list. I mean, all these coaches qualified for Success Club in the month of August. If you're a new coach, you're like, what the heck is Success Club? What is she talking about, all these numbers? Man, it just means that these people are committed to helping others, period. And to a certain degree. I mean, I think everybody's committed to helping others, but these people, these coaches, you guys are doing it in a way that reaches the benchmarks and the milestones and the goals that Beachbody kind of sets for us, that aligns sort of our future in this business with success. And so the key to success in this business is to help more people. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. And it is amazing. I tried to count how many, and then my eyes got blurry, and then I lost count. So I didn't count, but this is insane. And so I just want to say congratulations. This is going to go up on my personal page too. I just noticed a typo, my bad, Success Club on the top there. This is going to go on my personal page to give you guys another just nods in a huge high five and to highlight you as leaders. I think public recognition is so crucial, not just because of ego or anything, but it just shows that this team is doing powerful things on a day-to-day basis. The things that you guys are doing on Facebook or in your power hour or in the mom cracks or whatever your lingo is effective, and it matters, and it's powerful. And so I just am super proud of you. So congratulations if you were one of the Success Club qualifiers in August. And honestly, congratulations if you had points on the board in August. Maybe you didn't hit 5. Maybe you hit 3 or 4 or 2 or 1. Either way, you're helping people. And you know what? This month is another month and a brand new, bless you, Ruka, a brand new opportunity to help a couple more people. So I'm just so proud of you. I couldn't, wait till it went on my personal page. I wanted to show it tonight and just give you guys just some love because you deserve it. Okay, so tonight you guys were talking about motivation, right? So we're talking the whole point of this, the title of this is the power of self-motivation. 10 steps. I wanted to give you guys 10 concrete steps to creating consistency and results. So you might have seen I pulled the group. Earlier today, just to kind of get a feel for where you guys were at when it comes to your business. And I did the same thing in my personally sponsored group, and you know what? The outcome was virtually the same. And the majority of people, they know what to do in their business, and the struggle comes with consistency. The struggle comes, the lack of result or the lack of reaching their goal, from their perspective, is coming from not being consistent. And so from my experience in this business, I've gone through periods of my life or of my business where I'm incredibly motivated, specifically for my business goals. And there are other times where I wouldn't say I've lost the motivation. It's not like I'm like hanging up my hat, but at the same time, it's not as strong. It's not as powerful. And so I did a lot of, self-reflection and try to figure out what that was like for me. And so I want to translate that to you guys. And, the whole piece of self-motivation is so important because, nobody can motivation cannot come from anywhere but within. And, you can be motivated by maybe your upline or maybe, a prize or a trip or something. And that could work for a little bit. Let me stop screen sharing while I'm doing this so you don't get distracted. So you can do that for a little bit, but true motivation, lasting motivation, goal-crushing motivation has got to come from within. Your upline can't do it for you. Your success partner can't do it for you. Your spouse can't do it for you. Most of you probably know that already, but maybe not. And so what I was thinking of is, what is like something that I do, we all do, I hope, on a daily basis, that I just don't need any reminder for. And it's brushing my teeth. I don't need Lauren to text me and say, hey, did you brush your teeth this morning? Or, hey, did you brush your teeth before you went to bed? As an adult, none of us need that reminder. But remember, brushing our teeth this morning, it doesn't last long. We got to do it again tomorrow. And that's the same thing with motivation. The thing that fuels you to be motivated, it's got to be something that you don't need a reminder about. It's got to be so true to yourself that you don't need somebody saying, hey, did you do that thing today? Were you motivated to do the thing that you were supposed to do today? Just like brushing our teeth, it's not going to last for the week or for the month or for the year. We've got to do it every day. We've got to revisit it. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about, that self-motivation piece. And I'm going to kind of go in a few different directions as well as we keep going, but I want to talk to you about a little story here. So hang tight with me because this is borderline cheesy, but also super powerful. So hang tight with me. We are going to talk about an eagle. And some of you may have heard this story before. Let me get to the right page. So we're going to talk about the story of an eagle. So, something that I spoke on Janelle Summers' call the other day, and something that she said that really kind of perked my ears right in the beginning. She was telling her team to build a fortress around your focus. And so I want to ask you guys to build a fortress around your focus right now. There might be a million things going on in your house, but I want you to really listen to this analogy. I really want you to listen to this story and try to connect with it, try to draw from it. So, okay, so this eagle, obviously, this eagle has the longest lifespan of its species. It can live up to 70 years. But in order to reach that age, the eagle has got to make a really hard decision. In its 40th year, its long and flexible talons can no longer grab its prey. Its long and sharp beak, it bends. And then its feathers become really old, thick, and heavy. So you can picture all of that. The thick and heavy feathers stick to its chest and make it really difficult for it to fly. Then the eagle is left with two options. It can either die or it can go through a painful process of change. The change process requires the eagle to fly to a mountaintop and sit on a nest. And then the eagle knocks its own beak against a rock until it breaks. Then the eagle will wait for a new beak to grow. And then once the new beak is there, it begins to pull out its talons. When the new talons grow back, the eagle starts plucking its heavy and thick feathers. After this, the eagle takes its famous flight of rebirth and lives for another 30 years. So I want you to think about that, the change that the eagle needed to do. Why did the change need to happen? In order for the eagle to survive and to live and to thrive and to continue on its journey, right? So we too have to start that change process. We too have to pluck away these unpleasant memories or maybe these negative habits, or even just not as dramatic. Maybe it's like a fixed mindset that we have, some mindset that we have of ourselves that we just won't move past. Like, I never follow through, or I can't make Success Club, or I can't find like-minded coaches, or whatever it might be. When we free ourselves from those past burdens, we can really take advantage of the present, right? We can let go of our old self-limiting beliefs, and you can let yourself fly. And so I know it's a little bit dramatic, but at the same time, when I saw this, I thought to myself, you know what? I struggle with doing things consistently too. I absolutely do. But is that always going to be our story? I mean, if you can ask yourself this, and maybe if you were one of the ones that checked that, I don't know, I didn't really look at who checked what. It was just more of I wanted to see who was where the majority was. But if you check that, how long would you say you've been struggling with consistency? I would guess the majority would say probably a little while. You haven't quite overcome that. You haven't shed that old stuff in order to move on and to live maybe that's a little dramatic, but to absorb and to experience the present opportunity that you have in your business, because we're sort of telling ourselves the same old story. I was on another training today with some of our coaches, and Lauren Duke was the speaker, and she was talking about limiting beliefs, believe it or not. And she said, once you identify these limiting beliefs that you have or these struggles that you have, don't come back here with that same problem. Don't come back here with that same limiting belief in a month or 2 or 6 or whatever. Work on it. And so I thought that was pretty powerful. So we want to keep this in mind as we kind of keep going here. I want you to keep in mind the story of the eagle. And I'll probably read it if we have time, one more time as we close. But here I want to talk about my idea of a self-motivated coach versus an unmotivated coach. You might agree or disagree with some of these, or maybe you can make your own list. But to me, a self-motivated coach, they goal set. They show up regularly with very little, nagging or reminder. They just show up. You guys are probably all pretty self-motivated because you're here. Self-motivated coaches, they take the initiative. So another part of that is they ask for feedback. They don't expect somebody to, just to know what they need. They ask. They figure it out. They don't need a boss. They're not dependent on praise. A self-motivated coach, does what it takes. And a self-motivated coach is committed to positive self-talk. Maybe not perfectly, you guys, but generally speaking, this is my view of a self-motivated coach versus an unmotivated coach. There's not really an aim or a specific goal. They're kind of on the fringe. They show up sometimes. They wait for an invite. They're not really learning or taking initiative. They expect answers instead of go looking for answers. They need to be told what to do, and they become dependent on sort of the recognition piece. Not that a lot of people are motivated by recognition. There's nothing wrong with that, but it shouldn't be the only thing that keeps your wheels turning in your business. Unmotivated coaches, they stop short when they're kind of working towards their goal, and it is very possible for them to get it. Instead of trying with all they have until the very end, they stop short. And an unmotivated coach, they are negative, and they have limiting beliefs. And so when I was making this list, I can tell you that I have things from both sides. I don't know about you, but and it also depends on the day of the week or the season of life. But to me, a self-motivated coach is someone who goal sets, shows up regularly, takes initiative, asks for feedback, figures it out, doesn't need a boss, is not solely dependent on praise, does what it takes, and knows how to sort of get out of their own head when it comes to self-talk. So I'm going to give you some tips here. So you might ask yourself, okay, well, great. Self-motivation is obviously pretty powerful. You've said that nobody can motivate me but myself. Motivation has to come from within. But how do I get there? How do I do that? How do I get away from these limiting beliefs? How do I get away from all the unmotivated habits? And so I'm going to give you 10 steps that I feel are pretty much a surefire way to really become or continue being incredibly self-motivated, which is going to create that consistency and those results that you want in your business. Okay, so number 1, start really simple. Don't start building your business trying to create a brand new, website your first week. Start simple. Help 3 new people. Keep the main thing, you guys. Help 3 new people. Once you do that, add a coach to your team. Once you do that, add another coach to your team. Beachbody has done such an awesome job of creating these simple milestones that we can all reach for in our business. And if we do that, then we will see success. So obviously it's help 3 new people. Success Club is one of those milestones. Emerald is one of those milestones. Success Starters is one of those milestones. So if you're brand new and you don't know what those terms are, put those things in the FAQ. That's where you should start. Help 3 new people. Hit Success Club 5. Become a success starter. That's it. Start really simple. Number 2, keep good company. This is so important. I've been in this business 3.5 years now, and when I'm feeling less and less motivated, I got to ask myself, who am I teaming up with? How am I plugging in? You know what I'm saying? Keeping good company will help you stay motivated, and it will help you keep that motivation coming from within because you're surrounded by good company. What do I mean by that? Find a success partner. And I know everybody kind of whines about this because it's not the easiest thing to do. Sometimes it works out beautifully and it's a perfect match made in heaven. And other times it takes a while to find a great success partner or partners. And unfortunately, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles, right? So, but do the work, figure it out. Like, look at other people's stuff and see, like, is this person maybe aligned? And reach out to them. Say, hey, I don't know what your goals are, but I'm looking for a success partner. And be assertive enough to find a success partner or a success pod. So that's one way you can keep good company. Another way you can keep good company is to plug into the darn team pages, right? If you are my coach, I am 1,000% dedicated to my team page, and probably 5% of us plug in there, and that's okay. But if you're a coach here and your coach is leading the business, I guarantee they have a hub for you to plug into. I guarantee there's a team page and a community that you can plug into. And so do it, keeping good company in there. We are all our own CEOs, and that's great. And we are all independent, but keeping good company keeps the morale up and keeps us focused and motivated in new, fresh ways. Another way that you can keep good company is by networking. When you go to events, don't just stick with the same people that you always talk with or you always sit with. I know that's like so Sunday school, but it's true. Especially as you grow in your business, you become a diamond coach or a 2-star diamond, and you have all these opportunities to go to different events. Man, that is your time. That is your time to say, hey, my name's Brittany. Like, I follow you because of X, Y, and Z. I'd love to sort of chat to, or whatever it is, like, be assertive and network with new people, because that's pretty much how I operate my business now. Is I network and I collaborate with other leaders in the business. As some of you, my PS coaches will know, I host many groups a year, teaming up with other coaches, and I team up with other coaches to brainstorm new ideas. And that's where that fresh blood comes from. That's where that fresh energy comes from. And that is motivating. When I've got a fresh idea and it's fun to kind of dream up and plan out, and I know it's going to help some people, that motivates me. That keeps me motivated. So keep good company is number 2. Number 3 is keep learning. Whew, man, this is a big one. I don't know how anybody expects to stay motivated if they check out. If they're not committed to upgrading their skills, as I always kind of like to say. You guys, the national wake-up call, this team call, I'm kind of preaching to the choir because you guys are here. 170 of you are here. But, plugging into our team calls, if we maybe do a live power hour, or if your coach hosts a Zoom call, you better be on that Zoom call. And it better be a good reason why you're not. And I get it. Family is always number 1. Promise you, I'm completely in line with that. That's why we do calls once a month. But you are in the growing phase of your business, and you've got to make some hard choices like that eagle, right? You got to keep learning. You got to plug in. If your coach is hosting a Zoom call, you better be there. And I know there's some time zone issues, but I also know I've had coaches get on a Zoom call at 3 a.m. when they were motivated enough. And so I'm not saying you got to do that. I'm not saying you should kill yourself with no sleep. I'm just saying you got to figure out a way to get there. So keep learning. Be plugged into your team. Be connected to the branches, because that is going to keep you motivated. It's going to give you opportunity to learn and to ask questions and to gain new ideas. And so that's the 3rd point. Keep learning. And then the other thing with keep learning is, pace yourself. Don't wait for your coach to say, oh, there's another training, or hey, I have another training. go look. I mean, my goodness, my YouTube, I just looked the other day, has like a couple hundred videos on it. The Coach Online Office has a ton of modules. Our team page, dynastyunited.com, has a ton of stuff for brand new coaches, and we'll eventually have more stuff for different levels in the business. But there's so much that you can do self-pace. You know, I mean, I remember when I became a Star Diamond coach and I had no clue what a quarterly bonus was. I was like, what? I don't understand at all. And so I just YouTubed and I watched the most boring videos. It was by, bless her heart, she's not with Beachbody anymore, but Denise Needham. She's awesome, but it was so monotonous and it was like an hour long. And I remember being so bored. But after that video, I sure knew what a quarterly bonus was. I sure knew it, and I didn't have to wait on my upline to answer my question. And so keep learning, be resourceful, plug into your team. Number 4, stay positive, obviously. You know, I mean, that's pretty obvious, but that doesn't come as easily for some personalities or some walks of life than others. And so I understand that, and I've had tons of friends in this business who it's not their nature to be positive, and they've got to really work on it. And so if that's you, that's your lot. That's your lot in this Beachbody life. You got to work on it. Of course, the answer is personal development. But, you know, recognizing that you have a tendency to be negative is probably more than half the battle. So stay positive. That is going to keep you motivated. Anybody that's getting grumpy or complaining or getting so ticked off about like a tech issue or whatever, man, your motivation is going to plummet. I guarantee you're not going to be like, let's help 3 more people before I go to sleep, when you're all frustrated and grumpy. So stay positive. Number 5, stop thinking and do. How many of you have something on your list? And I'm gonna put my name at the top of this list here, but how many of you have something on your list that you've been wanting to do and you haven't done it because you haven't done the research yet, or you haven't taken the right picture for it yet, or you don't exactly know how to get the right dimensions for the thing yet, or whatever? How many of you guys have put off something that you believe is going to be something that's good for your business or your team or yourself because you keep thinking about it, or you keep overthinking or overanalyzing it? I mean, I've done that for 3 years, you know, but the thing is, when we stop thinking, we just do, guarantee we figure it out as we go. We figure it out. And honestly, as I have a perfect example, I meet with somebody from Facebook on a weekly basis, and it is the epitome of intimidating in my view. And so I almost turned it down when it was offered to me a couple weeks ago. But you know what? In spite of my fear, in spite of my busyness, in spite of my husband getting ready to leave, in spite of my whatever, I said, you know what? Yes, I'm going to do that. And it forces me. Like tonight, I will be up late because I got to do some research because I have a meeting tomorrow. It forces me to do what I've been putting off. And so, man, sometimes I got to recommend to just commit, just do it, just say yes and figure it out as you go. All right, number 6, the power of self-motivation, 10 steps, you guys, to creating consistency, which is going to create results. Number 6, know yourself. This is so important. Know where you shine. Know where you can shine naturally. When you can find a spot in your business, in your routine, in your personality strengths that you naturally shine, man, doesn't that feel good when you know you shine? You know. And so know yourself. Know where you naturally shine and do more of that. Do more of that. Expand on that. Grow there. Do more research there. Another part of this know yourself thing is so important, and I know this is going to speak really true to my PS coaches because I feel like we all kind of struggle with this, but know yourself, meaning when do you find yourself sabotaging yourself? What's happening when you find yourself feeling less motivated? Is it when you are really trying to hit Success Club 5 on the last day of the month for the 3rd month in a row or something? Or, you know, is it because you have been slacking on your fitness or whatever? You know, like, know yourself. When do you naturally find yourself losing that motivation, losing that excitement? When do you typically find yourself kind of declining, basically? And then on the flip side, when do you find yourself feeling really great? What is it that happens that you are like, man, this is awesome. Like I could, you know, I feel organized. I feel good. I feel content. I feel, you know, like I'm living out my purpose. You know, for most people, it's when they're following a program, you know, they're doing a program and they're doing it, you know, to the best that they can, or they're hitting Success Club, maybe midway of the month, or they're really connecting with their new coaches, learning their whys and trying to figure out how to help them. So know yourself. So all those things, know where you shine, know where you typically self-sabotage so that you can kind of see it coming, and know where you feel great and do more of that. Do more of the things they're going to make you feel really great. Number 7, you guys don't even need to hear this, but track your progress. When you are tracking your progress, you are more motivated to say, you know what, I'm making headway here, and so that's motivating to me. I'm going to continue doing it. So that's why we track our conversations or my Success Club points or my invites or whatever it is. For me, I use Asana, ASANA, strictly as a project manager because I'm motivated that way. And I know so many of us are pen and paper, but when your organization gets bigger, it is harder and harder to keep track of all those darn pieces of paper. So Asana works for me. And it's motivating when I cross crucial projects off my list. It's very motivating for me. So Asana is a huge thumbs up for me personally in my business to track my projects. And then the BAT, the business activity tracker. I take a sip of water, hold on. Any kind of tracker, that's going to allow you to see where you're putting your effort and give you that turnaround that you can kind of say, you know what, this is working. I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely getting there. And so that's awesome. So track your progress. Number 8, help others. You guys, that's our whole job, right? Helping others is our entire job. So, but the thing is, the way it applies to self-motivation is because helping others is not necessarily refueling. Sometimes helping others can be very draining. Sometimes, helping others can kind of suck the life out of you, and it can feel like there's not a lot left for you. But on the flip side, helping others in a way where you are passing on your knowledge, passing on what's worked for you, that's motivating because then you get to see other people succeed. That's probably one of the best things in my business is when I see my coaches succeeding. It trumps any personal accomplishment. It really is very fulfilling. And so when you are a part of that, it's motivating. And so help other people, pass it on. Do a YouTube video for your future team. Maybe you don't even have anybody on your team. That's okay. Do it, for your future team, or do it for other coaches in the net, or do it for your challengers. But help others, pass on your knowledge. So this one, number 9, is to get over the IGS. IGS is instant gratification syndrome. We are in network marketing, and the business model is brilliant. There's no doubt about it. The more you learn about network marketing via a reputable company with integrity, the more you're like, why aren't more people doing this? Why aren't more people doing this? But the thing is with network marketing, it's not like a typical job. A typical job, you show up and like for me, I worked as a nurse for, 7 years, and, other people, maybe you're a teacher or whatever, you show up to work and you do your tasks or whatever, you clock in or whatever your thing is, you do your specific tasks and you go home and you get paid. You get paid every week or every 2 weeks or monthly or whatever your schedule is. Network marketing, you show up, you create great content, you share your story, you're vulnerable with others, you pour your heart into your challengers, you open up challenge groups, you figure out how to use the challenge app, and then you don't get paid. And then you do it again, you create content, you help other people, you're answering all your messages, you're connecting with new people, you're helping your challengers, and you still don't make any money. And then it happens again and again and again. And so it can feel very opposite from anything that we're used to because there is no instant gratification. Definitely not instant. And yeah, maybe you'll make a little bit, but you seem to ask yourself, I don't know, man, like my 9 to 5, at least I know what I'm making. But I promise you guys that breakthrough happens. That breakthrough happens and then it's completely mind-blowing. But you got to get over the IGS. You've got to get over that instant gratification syndrome. And the most ironic thing is, to me, is that we pride ourselves, or at least I do, we pride ourselves on not being a get-rich-quick scheme or scam or a pyramid. We tell people that. We're like, you're not going to, this is not a get rich quick overnight, or this is not like an overnight thing. You're not going to make $500 your first week. But then I see coaches like, oh, I'm going to quit because I'm not making any money. I'm like, wait a second. You just you just grabbed onto that as a great thing, that we're not like a get rich really quick business. But at the same time, it's like, why aren't you willing to wait? Why aren't you willing to stick it out and to stay steadfast? And so I had to ask myself the same thing. Everybody starts that way. That is network marketing. It takes time, but we got to get over that. And the more we get over that, the more we're going to be motivated by other things, and we're going to still have that motivation. If we are expecting instant results, even if we say we're not, but then we're expecting a paycheck and we don't get it, that's going to drain our motivation. And then the last one here that I have is, and I just had this from my personal experience here, is, we gotta attach a personal dedication to the motivation, because the motivation is not always going to be there. Or you might have a month where you work insanely hard and you get Success Club, but you are just drained, or whatever it is. Or maybe you work insanely hard and you don't get Success Club. The motivation may not be there the next day or the next week. And so in order to sustain that motivation, you've got to attach that personal dedication. You've got to be able to say, I dedicate myself to this mission because of this. And that's got to be your why. That has got to be your reason for doing this. It's got to be far more than a paycheck. It's got to be far more than helping people, honestly. It's got to be way more specific than that. You've got to attach a personal dedication. And when we have that personal resolve, it is like, man, nothing can happen in our business to say, I quit, or I'm not doing this anymore. Nothing. Attach a personal dedication. Let me block this person really quick. Okay. So attach personal dedication. What is your why? And why are you completely committed to the long haul here? What is the reason? And I promise you, like, that's got to come from yourself. Your upline can't do that for you. Your upline cannot do it. And so I'm going to wrap up here, but I want to share one more. My call to action here. The whole point here is for us to be self-motivated, to be so motivated that we don't need somebody to call us up and say, hey, did you do your power hour today? Hey, did you invite anybody today? Do you have a challenge group set up? No. Your call to action here is to think of the eagle. What are some of these limiting thoughts and behaviors that you have? Do you need to shed them? Like, what are these things? Maybe for you, if you answered that poll, it was that you're not consistent enough, or that you're not this enough, or that you don't do that well enough, or that you, whatever the fill in the blank. What are these limiting thoughts and behaviors that you need to shed? What do you need to pluck out? What's holding you back? I want you to write them down. And then I want you to do something like really old school, like Girl Scout camp style, or maybe church camp style. I want you to write them down, these limiting thoughts and behaviors that you need to shed. I want you to write them down. The mean talk that you tell yourself, write it down on a piece of paper, and then destroy the paper however you want. Put it in a shredder, rip it up, crumple it up, burn it, put it in the water. Well, don't put it in the water, but whatever. Do something to destroy it. And then I want you to pick 2 of these 10 steps, and I'll put them back on the screen. I want you to pick 2 of these 10 steps that you can implement right now in order to build this self-motivation. And I want you to write it down, and then I want you to post a picture of it in the Coach Family Team page. Okay, so 2 pieces of call to action here. First of all, write down your limiting thoughts and behaviors that you need to shed, like the eagle, the things that you need to pluck out. Write them down and destroy the paper somehow. The second piece is to pick 2 of these 10 steps that you can implement right now to create this consistency and these results through self-motivation, and post a picture of it in the Coach Family. Okay, so remember, you don't need me to tell you to brush your teeth. You don't need me to tell you to wash your face, or you don't need anyone to tell you to wash your hair or to put on deodorant, or whatever the thing is, whatever the basic things are. You got to figure out that thing for your business. What is going to keep you so motivated that you don't need anybody to say, hey, did you do this? You don't need anyone to say, hey, well, you didn't post a graphic of me doing that. and it's like, that's all important. And I'm not belittling that at all, because recognition is so important, but it can't be the motivating factor. You've got to come from within there. You've got to have such a powerful connection to what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it, that you don't need me or your upline or your success partner to do anything about it other than to listen and say, hey, what is your goal? What is it that's, burning in you? What is it that's making you wake up at 4 a.m, Ashley Brockington? Or what is it that's making you stay up super, super late, or do it when you have a newborn, or whatever, whatever the thing is. Everybody has something. Everybody has a challenge that they got to work through, and probably multiple ones, by the time your business is grown. So I want you to really kind of tap into these 10 steps to become more self-motivated, because, man, this is your business. And the more you own it, it's like Brendon Burchard always says, like, you got to own, there's got to be personal responsibility for the failures and the successes. And so if you're somebody that's saying, you know what, I know what to do in my business, but I'm not doing it consistently, that's on you. It's on you. It's on me. I don't need another training or another graphic or another checklist or another tracker. I need to deal with my own limiting beliefs, and I need to move on. I need to take some action and get over it. And I got to have that burning desire within me that's so personal that I stick to it. And I got to remember that there is no IGS in this business, none. And when as soon as you expect it, your motivation is going to go down the drain. So I've got a couple minutes. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. Don't forget about your call to action and your hashtag challenge. Hashtag challenge has got to be posted by tomorrow at noon. The call to action is to write down the limiting beliefs, the behaviors that you need to pluck out. And yeah, let me show this slide. Things that you need to pluck out and burn it, destroy it, rip it, melt it, whatever. Let me get there, sorry. And then the second one was to pick 2 of those 10 steps that you can implement right now and take a picture of it, write it down, take a picture of it, and post that in the Coach Family page. Okay, so let's see. Anybody have any questions? I've got a couple minutes. If anybody wants to, and then I'm going to be up for a while preparing for my Facebook thing. But does anybody have any questions? Anything. It doesn't have to be necessarily about motivation, but that would be awesome. If anybody has anything specific that they'd like to ask, please shoot. I'm happy you guys were here. This was awesome. I'll post a little bit about the eagle too, maybe. I think that's such an awesome story and an awesome visual, because it's like, man, I think we can all relate to that in some ways. We all have crummy behaviors and habits that we hang on to, and it's almost like a trophy. We're like, oh, well, we can't do that because we do this, or we don't do this, or I'm not good at that, or I'm not outgoing, or I'm not great at social media, or whatever, or my posts don't get any likes, or whatever the junk is that we tell ourselves. And then that becomes our story, right? Are there any specific topics or PD books you recommend for this topic? Motivation, self-motivation. I've never read any books about that. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think maybe Take the Stairs could be, it's more like Success Principles, but Take the Stairs by Rory Vaden. I thought it was an awesome book, and it's a quick read, and it kind of is about just like doing the thing, so, but I don't know about specifically about self-motivation. I'm sorry, I'm kind of running blank there. I'll definitely ask some of my success partners though if they have any options. Shannon, the eagle story wasn't from Janelle. That was just from this call. Janelle, she asked me to talk about, my topic for her call was personalizing your business through sharing and visualizing. Let's see. Awesome. I'm glad you guys were here. Thank you so much for coming. I'll post these slides. I'll post the call to action slide. Well, yeah, I'll post the call to action slide, and then I'll post the 10 steps in the comments for all of us to kind of have as a reference. So eat that frog, you're a badass. Those are good suggestions. Yeah. Eat that frog. Yeah, that's probably pretty in line with self-motivation. It's more just like, taking action. I really struggle with a strong enough why. Did you go through a specific process to try and uncover your deep why? Yeah, I mean, I think for me, my why, my reason for this business, for the work that I've committed to this business, and for the, just kind of staying steadfast, is it evolved over time. I mean, I always knew that I wanted my husband to have my husband's active duty, and I always wanted him to have a choice, whether that was what he did long term or not. And so I think for me, and any other, military wife, we have such a real, what's the right word? It's such a raw reminder on such a regular basis when you live a lifestyle like this, that it didn't get very far for me. It has never gotten very far for me. And so that has always been such a raw thing that I deal with, and personally I struggle with. And so that has helped me, just to have something that it's like that thing where it's like when you have such a reason to fight for this, you don't waver. It's like you don't have an option to say, nah, I'm not going to show up, or nah, I'm not going to work hard to help 3 people this month, because you've got such a real reason to do this. And so for you, it's obviously maybe different, probably is going to be very different, but I just think you've got to tap into what are your pain points, or what is it that you want to have happen, or what do you want to allow other people to do? Because a lot of people aren't financially motivated. And to that I say, okay, great, then make a lot of money from this and give it to somebody who needs it. Give it to a family, a charity, a cause, a church, an organization that really needs it to make a difference that you believe in. So I know that doesn't answer your question exactly, but I started from my pain points. What were the pain points in my life? And those evolved. And what were my passions? So for me, it was my personal fitness accountability, because I was fearful that I would I would stop being healthy. The second one was I've always been very passionate about helping women, specifically women who go through a deployment. I want them to have something positive to put all that energy towards. And then thirdly is for my family. I want to leave a legacy for my family. And in order to do that, I need freedom of time, and my husband needs freedom of time. And in order to do that, there's got to be, something that's sustaining our family. And so anyway, I started there. From a leadership perspective, how do you empower your team to do rather than just stay stagnant? Yeah, I mean, I think you got to say, let me take this thing off. I don't know why I'm still screen sharing. Sorry. That's a really good question. And I think that's something that all of us either struggle with or we got to learn at some point. So this is my perspective. Motivating your team to take action. I think what you recognize is what gets repeated, which you know that. So when you are enabling all of your coaches all the time, there's not a whole lot of reason for them to, be independent or whatever. But to answer your question specifically, you want to have coaches who are hungry for change, right? At least I do. You want to have coaches that are hungry for change, that show up and they dig in on their own. So I love the analogy of a balloon, right? So, when you're a coach and you have coaches on your team, let's just say you have your one coach and they're really motivated. They're kind of like a balloon, right? They're really motivated. So they're filled up with air and they float, they stay up in the air. And so when you aren't there amping them up, slowly their air gets let out and they start to drop to the floor. And so when you only have one coach, you as the leader can keep popping their balloon up in the air, right? When you have 150 coaches, you can't keep all those balloons up in the air. When you have 10 coaches, you can't keep all those balloons up in the air. When you have 5 coaches, you can't keep all those balloons up in the air if you want to stay sane and give your priority to your family. So the thing is, my coaches that aren't matching effort, it's no hard feelings, but I'm not chasing them. And the biggest thing that I can do is to motivate them by my example. And so that's why I put myself on the Success Club board every single time I do a check-in, because I want my coaches to see that I start at 0 too. Or I want my coaches to see whatever. And that's why I used to, Shay, you know this, but I used to share my income all the time because I wanted my coaches to see that some weeks I had 0 income from retail or whatever it was, or I had negative because I had returns. And so I feel like the most powerful thing we can do is to motivate by our example. And as leaders, what is recognized is repeated. What you allow is repeated. And so as leaders, we've got to say, you've got to find your own motivation. So I think we have to be transparent about that and teach that, and be willing to say, you know what, I love you, I appreciate you and your role on this team. Absolutely. No matter what you produce, I appreciate you and you're valuable. But I'm spending my time mentoring coaches who are building a business. And so if something changes for you, please communicate that with me, because that's my role, that's my passion here. But because I'm only one person, I can't chase everybody around and ask how everybody's doing every 5 seconds. The lines of communication got to be open. And so recognizing the action is, to me, the most powerful thing you can do, and to motivate by your own example, which you do, you personally do. But that means us leaders, we got to be getting Success Club. We got to be going all out to help 3 new people every single month. We've got to be sponsoring new coaches. We've got to be, I don't know why I kept this public, you guys, sorry. We've got to, I think we've got to be vulnerable and open, but also, you've got to get to that point as a leader where you say, I love you and I adore you and I care about you and your whole family, but I'm doing this thing and I'm going and I want you to come with me. But if not, I'm here when you're ready. But if not, I'm going. And that's just kind of how it is, because you're not a babysitter. This isn't a best friend club, although it turns into that a lot of times. But this is a business, and this is you working your business. And so you can, as a leader, you can easily get sucked into enabling people and trying to keep all these balloons up. And at the end of the day, you have nothing left for yourself or for your spouse or for whatever, because it can be so draining. And the more you do that, the more your team expects that from you, unfortunately, because that's kind of the precedent that you've kind of set. So I know that was kind of like all over the place, Shay, but that's my opinion on it. So yeah, the door is always open, guys. Like the train's leaving, but there's always room for more people. There's room at the top, but I can't sit here and wait because I got goals too, So that's a good question. Any other questions? Got a couple minutes before 10. Limiting beliefs, you guys, it pulls your focus from your why and your goals. So those of us who are saying the same old story to ourselves about what we can't do or what we might do or what we try to do or whatever, it's pulling all that energy and all that focus from our why and from our goal, and probably from our family is probably what it boils down to, right? So yeah, so anyway, those are my tips, those are my thoughts. And I think it's not everybody's, self-motivated every day, but I think we can all learn. I think we can all learn to shift our focus there and to really, kind of get there. If we tackle 2 of these 10 steps this week, and then we add maybe another one or maybe 2 more, the week after, I think we can get there, but we're all CEOs, and we all got to take that responsibility for our own business, no matter who is stroking our ego or keeping our balloon up. It's got to come from us. So I'm looking forward to your call to action. I will go ahead and stop this because it's we're at about an hour, but I will post that in the team page. Don't forget about your hashtags and then your 2 call to actions, and I'm excited to see them. So I love you all. I appreciate you all. Is there any other announcements that I have? I'll post that Success Club board probably tomorrow. Good luck in the health bet. I don't know. I didn't prepare any of that stuff. I didn't prepare any announcements, but I love you guys. I hope you have a solid September, and I hope you just love life and you're excited about what we do. And I truly feel like it's an honor. Every day I wake up tired, but I also, when I get going, I'm like, man, this is awesome. This is awesome what we get to do. And it's hard. It's hard, but it is way rewarding. Sorry, I see a question. Sorry. Oh, hi, Laura. Who are self-limiting? Yeah, Aaron, you might want to add in some of anything that you learn to your challengers too, like about self-motivation, about being motivated from within. That might be a good little personal development kind of thing for them to do as well in the challenge group. How did you share your personal story, particularly the bad parts, publicly without offending? Oh, it just skipped. Without offending family on Facebook. That's so tough, Kirby. For me, a lot of my family's not on Facebook, or the ones that aren't really involved, or they know the story, and it's fine. So if part of my story was going to hurt or to offend somebody, I would probably have a conversation with them first, and or I wouldn't share on social media first. I would probably share in a private group or on a Zoom call or in one-on-one conversation. I think there's probably a lot of ways you could go about that, but I think that you have to be careful, when your family members or the person that's involved, if you still have a relationship with them. That wasn't really the case for me. Mine's about like alcoholism. My dad passed away. My stepmom isn't somebody that I'll just leave it at that. I don't care. So, but anyway, so the people that would be negatively affected are on Facebook. So, but yeah, if they are, I think you can make a decision for yourself, if that's something you're comfortable doing, and then just do it a little at a time. And if not, then maybe start sharing just personally or just in small groups. And then the last step I would say is to potentially have a conversation, because if there's healing from that situation, you might want to talk to that person and say, hey, like, I know this involves you, but part of my mission is to help and encourage and to relate to other people, and part of me really wants to share this part of my story. And I don't know, I have no clue exactly how that would go depending on the circumstance, but that could be something that you could do as well. Okay, I didn't see any other questions. Anything else? Okay, all right, I love you guys. I'm going to end this. I'm going to post our call to action. Have a great night. Have a great Friday and a great weekend, and I'll see you in the pages. Bye, guys.